All right. Hello, students. Today we'll be studying about the toxins which are involved in the plant pathology and the different toxins, the type and classifications of the toxins and their role in the pathogenesis and different diseases that are caused by them. So basically, let us have a small introduction about the toxins. The toxins were first recognized by Anton de Berry in 1886, and he recognized that the pathogen damages their host by secreting the toxins. So basically, he recognized the fact that a pathogen is affecting the host by producing the toxins. He also considered he is also considered as the discoverer of the word toxin. Then in 1943, Gottlieb reported the role of toxins produced by Fusarium species, and Clausen in 1944 categorized Lycomyrismen in Fusarium wilt of tomato. In 1954, Gorman wrote that the microorganisms are pathogenic only if they are toxigenic. So Gorman believed that a microorganism can be pathogenic to a plant host only in the case where it can secrete a toxin. So he states that a microorganism are pathogenic only if they are toxigenic. So let us have a quick review of what are toxins. Toxins can be exotoxins or endotoxins. A microbial metabolite that is excreted outside the cell is an exotoxin, and the endotoxins are basically released by the lysed cells, and they are the part of the bacterial cell wall. And these toxins are produced as a result of the interaction between the host and pathogen. Basically, the toxins are proteinaceous in nature, they are low molecular weight, and they are mobile in plant. That is, they can move inside the plant from one place to another. They are very effective at low concentration. So even a small amount of toxin will be able to, show the pathogenicity and cause the disease. These toxins, they act directly on the host protoplast and influence the cause of disease development and symptom expression. So there is an toxin hypothesis which was given by Luke and Wheeler in 1955. According to Luke and Wheeler, they actually gave 3 points giving in their hypothesis. The first is a toxin should produce all symptoms, characteristics of the disease. So according to Luke and Wheeler, they states that the toxin should be able to produce the symptoms of the disease, all the symptoms of the disease. And in the point 2, they say that sensitivity to toxin will be correlated with the susceptibility to the pathogen. So they say that if a pathogen is or a host is susceptible to a particular pathogen, he will be equally sensitive to the toxin produced by that particular pathogen. Then they say that the toxin production by the pathogen will be directly related to its ability to cause disease. That means a pathogen will be able to cause the disease so much as he has the ability to cause the disease. He will be able to cause the disease only if he is able to produce the toxin, and it will the toxin production and the pathogenicity will be directly related. So this hypothesis accepts the toxin Victorin, which is produced by Cochleobolus victori. Majority of the toxins which are known today, they actually fail to exhibit the above characteristics. So Victorin is the only toxin known today which exhibit all the above given, hypothesis points which were given by Luke and Wheeler. Now let us look at the classification of the toxin on the basis of their source of origin. The toxins can be classified as phytotoxin, pathotoxins, and vivotoxins. Let us first look at what is a pathotoxin. Basically, these pathotoxins play a major role in the disease development and generation of the disease symptoms. These are produced by the microorganisms or the pathogens during pathogenesis and they play a major role in disease production. So the examples of the pathotoxins include Victorian toxin, which is produced by Cochleobolus victori and which causes the Victoria blight of oats. And this you can see in the picture. This is the picture of the oats, which shows the disease symptoms caused by the toxin Victorian. The pathotoxins are the host specific toxins. So basically, what are pathotoxins? These are the toxins which play a major role in disease production, and they produce all or most of the symptoms characteristics of the disease in the host plants. The next category of the toxins are the phytotoxins. So phytotoxins are the substances which are produced in the host plant due to the host pathogen infection, and their role in the disease development and the symptoms generation is relatively very less than the pathotoxins. So they are not involved in the symptom generation as the pathotoxins. These are non-specific in nature. That means they can affect physiology of the variety of plants and unrelated species, and there is no relationship between the toxin production and the pathogenicity of the disease causing agent. The examples of phytotoxins include alternaric acid, which is produced by Alternaria solani, and lycomyrismin. The third category of the toxins is the vivotoxins. So vivotoxins are the substances which can be produced in the infected host by the pathogen or by the host itself, and they are involved in the production of the disease. So basically, they have certain role in the production of the disease, but they are not the initial inciting agent of the disease. So like pathotoxins are responsible for all the disease symptoms generation, the phytotoxins were not involved in the disease symptoms generation, but the vivotoxins are involved in the generation of the disease, but they are actually not the initial inciting agent of the disease. So examples of vivotoxins are fusaric acid, which causes the wilt, and it is produced by the Fusarium oxysporum species. The classification can also be done based on the specificity, that is how much the toxin is specific to the host. So basically these can be divided into two types, as host specific or host selective toxins and non-host specific, or you can say non-selective toxins. So let us see. Host specific toxins, they affect only to the natural host of the pathogen, that is the susceptible host of the pathogen, which is the host which is naturally susceptible to a particular pathogenic microorganism. Whereas the non-host specific toxins, they may also affect the physiology of the different unrelated plants which may not be the natural host of the pathogenic microorganism. The second point of difference is that the host specific toxins are the primary determinants of the disease. So they are majorly involved in the disease development and the symptom generation, whereas the non-host specific are the toxins which are the secondary determinants of the disease, which means that they are not involved in the starting off and the primary generation of the disease symptoms. The third point is that the host specific toxins are produced all the essential symptoms of the disease, whereas the non-host specific, they produce very less or none symptoms of the disease. The examples of the host specific toxins include Victorian toxin, T toxin, and the non-host specific toxins are TEN toxin, TEB toxins. Let us quickly see what are host specific toxins once again. These are the metabolic products of the pathogens. So basically, host specific, non-host specific, both are the metabolic products of the pathogen, but the host specific are selectively toxic only to the susceptible host of the pathogen, to the natural susceptible host of the pathogen. The HSTs affect only plants that are the host of the toxin producing microbial pathogen. And the examples are HV toxin, T toxin, AK toxin, AM toxin, HMT toxin, amylovorin. So let us see a few of them. The first is Victorin toxin or HV toxin. This toxin was the first host-specific toxin to be reported, and it was reported by Meehan and Murphy in 1947. It is produced by Helminthosporum victori, which causes the leaf blight, or you can say Victoria blight disease of oats. This toxin changes the cell wall structure. So it is a host specific toxin. HV toxin, Victorian toxin is a host specific toxin which causes Victoria blight disease in host. The next is AK toxin. This toxin is produced by Alternaria kikuchiana. It is also a host specific toxin. It produces leaf spots or black spots of pyroserotin. It is also called as altenin. So you can see this in the pictures, the black spots caused by AK toxin, and this toxin is produced by Alternaria kikuchiana. It is a host specific toxin. Next is the AM toxin. This toxin is produced by the fungal species Alternaria mallee. It is also a host specific in nature. It causes the disease known as Alternaria blotch of apple. As a result of this toxin, there is a rapid loss of chlorophyll which occurs, and it induces the damage to plasma lemma and chloroplast lamella. This is the picture showing the Alternaria blotch of apple. The next category based on the specificity are the non-host specific toxins, as I just discussed. These are also the metabolic products of the pathogen. They are non-host specific. That is, it can affect the protoplasm of many unrelated plant species, which may or may not be infected naturally or normally by the pathogenic microorganism. The examples include TAP toxin, TEN toxin, phaseoliotoxin, alternaric acid, pyrrolidine. So let us discuss TAP toxin. This toxin was first reported by Johnson and Marvin in 1925. It was confirmed by Clayton in 1934. This TAP toxin is produced by bacterial pathotype Pseudomonas syringe, Pathover tabacti. This toxin causes the disease of wildfire blight of tobacco, and it is a dipeptide. Dipeptide means it is made up of two amino acids, namely threonine and taptoxinin. Basically, this amino acid as a dipeptide, this toxin is non-toxic naturally as a whole molecule. Taptoxin is itself non-toxic. But once inside the host, this toxin is hydrolyzed and broken down into its component amino acid, which releases the taptoxinin. The taptoxinin is an active part of the toxin. The taptoxinin inactivates or hampers the enzyme glutamine synthetase. As a result of the inactivation of the enzyme glutamine synthesis, there is a low level of glutamine, and there is an accumulation of ammonia inside the cells to a toxic levels. As a result of the accumulated ammonia, there is an uncoupling of photosynthesis and photorespiration, which results in the destruction of the thylakoid membrane, and hence it ultimately causes the necrosis in the leaf tissues. The physiolotoxin is a toxin which is involved in the bacterial bean blights called the halo blights. It is produced by Pseudomonas syringe, Pathover fasciolocola, and the symptoms which are produced by the bacterium are the same symptoms can be produced by the toxin alone. So chemically, the toxin is made up of 3 amino acids: ornithine, alanine, and arginine. And there is a phosphosulfonal group attached to the ornithine amino acid. So inside the toxin again, inside the plant cells, again this toxin is enzymatically cleaved and broken down, which results in the release of the phosphosulfonal ornithine. The phosphosulfonal ornithine is the toxic moiety or the toxic molecule, which results in the inactivation of the enzyme ornithine carbamyl transferase. As a result of the inactivation of this enzyme ornithine carbamyl transferase, there is an accumulation of ornithine and the levels of citrulline and arginine is reduced inside the cells, which results in the disease development. So let us just quickly conclude our lecture. The toxins are the microbial metabolites which are involved in the disease development. The toxins are the weapons of the microbes that helps in injuring and killing the host cell. They cause severe damage to the plant and they produce different symptoms. The toxins also inhibit the enzymatic reactions inside the host, and they are very effective at low concentration and directly act upon the host protoplast. Thank you.